Well, it's a situation that's been threatened for quite some time now, and it's finally happened. Liverpool certainly at the moment have been told by FIFA that they will not be able to select from Alisson, Fabinho or Roberto Firmino for the Premier League game at Leeds United on Sunday. The reason for this is the Brazilian FA have requested that FIFA invoke the 5-day rule. What this involves is because Liverpool refused to release the three Brazilians for international duty for this international break, it means that Brazil FA are within their rights, or they believe that they're in their rights, to ask FIFA to basically say that from the moment that the last international game is going to be played, which is on Thursday night, early hours of Friday morning when Brazil played Peru, they then the players who were originally called up for international duty then cannot play for the next 5 days for their clubs. That basically means that the three players won't be able to play against Leeds and will be back in time for the Champions League group opener against AC Milan. It's not just Liverpool that have been affected. There are quite a number of other Premier League clubs, Manchester City being one of them, Manchester United another, and there are clubs across Europe who basically said that they didn't want the players to play, not just for Brazil but for other South American teams, because of basically restrictions that when they then would have been due to return from South America to Europe. For example, in the United Kingdom, anybody who's coming back from South America or any red list country, or basically the travel red list that the governments have introduced during the pandemic, they would then have to stay in a quarantine hotel for 10 days, and that would basically mean that they would then not be able to play for, not so much play for Liverpool for I think it's around 4 games, but they wouldn't be able to train either because they'd have to stay in this hotel. And Liverpool and the other Premier League clubs basically said that's not an option. We would rather that didn't happen. Now, at the moment, while the players are banned, Liverpool are contesting the decision, and not just them, it's the whole of the leading European clubs and the European Clubs Association. They've got together, they've been in agreement over this for quite some time, actually, because they could see this issue coming up, and they're basically saying to FIFA that they can't see any reason why the players shouldn't be allowed to play, because it's such extraordinary circumstances with the quarantines. It's totally different to normal, where if you did just say to refuse to release a player for international duty, that would be completely different. This obviously, as we know, it's very unusual times, and that happens to be why Liverpool have taken exception to it. They're currently assessing their options. We believe that possibly Thursday sometime we'll know exactly what they're going to do, but for the moment it looks as though the three Brazilians will not be able to play against Leeds on Sunday. In any case, I think Firmino would have been a major doubt because of the hamstring injury that forced him off against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. He probably wouldn't have played anyway, but it is a bit of a headache for Jurgen Klopp because he's preparing for a game where he still doesn't know which players are available.